reports on Wednesday. Now, NVIDIA is normally pretty open about its business, but like all companies, it has what's known as a quiet period that starts 4 weeks before the company reports its earnings. If there's something that very much impacts the earnings, management is not supposed to answer any questions about it during the quiet period, even if it knows the answer. It is always respectful of it, and you need to know that. Now, NVIDIA reports this week, so it's in the final days of this quiet period. That means any news disseminated this week that could impact the company would put NVIDIA squarely behind the 8 ball. Everyone knows that you can really throw off any company and its shareholders by injecting uncertainty. Sure enough, this weekend, a publication called The Information said that NVIDIA is grappling with what it called, quote, new problems related to its much-anticipated Blackwell graphics unit for artificial intelligence, end quote. The machines are big, they are powerful, and by NVIDIA's own admission, they run hot. The problem occurs when they are connected together in a customized server rack. Now, look, this is serious business, these server racks, the type of story I'd love to get a response to you about. But when I tried to get a response from NVIDIA, I got, listen, Jim, we're in quiet period. We can't help you. So this really noisy, not great story comes out. I try to find out what's going on, and I can't. That means I have no idea if there's something that could delay large-scale implementation of Blackwell. That's their latest and greatest chip. Perhaps it'll be delayed until January, when management on record saying that the new product line could be humming. Maybe there's a problem beyond that. Or perhaps there's no real issue at all, because the key company that installs NVIDIA's chips, known as Dell, announced today in a tweet, quote, the first in the world NVIDIA GB, the Grace Blackwell 200 NVL72 server racks are now shipping. The server racks that we were told weren't shipping. As Michael Dell went on in his tweet, quote, we are thrilled to deliver our liquid-cooled PowerEdge XE9712 to CoreWeave. The AI rocket just got a massive boost, end quote. CoreWeave is a new cloud computing provider that's been a voracious user of NVIDIA chips. Of course, The Information updated their piece with that info, which pretty much called the whole exercise that The Information had issued into question. Oh, boy, was the damage ever done? So then the question becomes, who's telling the truth here? The Information, which says there are real issues involving delays, or Michael Dell, who's telling you there is no delay? Here it is. I have known Michael Dell for years. He has not impressed me as anything other than a scrupulous business person ever since Dell came public for the first time in 1988. The Information? I first chronicled their activities back on August 2nd, just when they broke the story that Blackwell was running late. Funny, when I called NVIDIA back then about the Information story of Blackwell back then, the company had just entered quiet period, so they weren't allowed to talk to me. Sensing a pattern here? Quiet period, quiet period. Just like this quiet period, I could only sit on my hands and let the negative story wash over me. Funny, when that story broke, the stock was at 107. 5 days later, it was at 98. With NVIDIA back up to 149 earlier this month, you left a huge amount of money on the table if you took your cue from the Information's information. Now, I'm not...
It's possible that NVIDIA's latest AI systems have an overheating problem. However, the AI market is so large that it is unlikely that the chipmaker and its suppliers will see any issues filling their order books. That clarifies Monday morning's strange trading swing. The Information reported over the weekend that NVIDIA is still adjusting the architecture of one of its newest systems to minimize overheating, which caused the company's shares to drop more than 3% after the opening bell. However, the stock swiftly made up a large portion of that loss and ended the day down just 1.3%. Meanwhile, NVIDIA's processors are used in servers built by Dell, Supermicro, and Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, all of which saw significant improvements during the day. The 72 GPU chips that make up the new NVIDIA system are intended to supercharge artificial intelligence computation. The system, known as the NVL72, is a component of the eagerly awaited Blackwell product line, which is slated to launch in large quantities shortly and serve as the foundation of NVIDIA's operations in the upcoming year. Wall Street anticipates rapid expansion. According to Visible Alpha's average forecasts, analysts predict the Blackwell family will bring in around $63 billion for NVIDIA's upcoming fiscal year, up from just $4 billion for the current fiscal year that ended in January. The businesses that create the servers for those chips are also anticipated to benefit greatly from it. Dell CEO Michael Dell declared that the company is now selling server racks with the NVL 72 systems in a post on the X platform on Sunday. On Monday, Dell's stock increased more than 3%. Because of the high need for AI, Nvidia's older chips should continue to be in high demand. Even with Blackwell shipping, analysts predict that Hopper, the company's current family of AI processors, would bring in over $42 billion in revenue the next year. Every cloud customer needs to deploy as much AI capacity, Hopper and Slash or Blackwell, to address surging demand, stated Vivek Arya, an analyst at BofA Securities, in a note to investors on Monday. In order to see whether the chipmaker's prediction lives up to that billing, investors will be keenly examining Nvidia's fiscal third quarter release on Wednesday afternoon. So what implications does this have for Nvidia's stock? Let's explore that. But first, a big thank you to those of you who've stuck with us this far. Creating these videos takes significant effort and dedication. So if you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts on Nvidia stock in the comments. Your support truly helps us grow. Now let's get back to the video.
Not guaranteeing a good quarter from Nvidia Wednesday at all. Far from it. I've been watchfully waiting for full Blackwell shipments, even as the company's been saying for months that these chips wouldn't start shipping in volume until January. I was thinking maybe they were practicing underperform and over-deliver. Now I don't know. In fact, I could argue that the information news isn't news at all, though. The machines are complicated. They run real hot. I said that when I interviewed Dover CEO Rich Tobin here on Friday. Dover makes some of the equipment that keeps these data centers cool, liquid cooling. Before Blackwell, there were chips that could be cooled by air. Tobin says it's possible one day that Dover's cryogenic solution might be needed to put into play. Could happen. Why do I go into all these details? Well, there are several reasons. One is that Nvidia stock is arguably the greatest of all time. It's had a concentrated burst of strength that's almost unprecedented. This thing is no warhorse. You know what it is? It's a sprinter and a workhorse at the same time. It's Secretariat, a marvel of a horse that won the Belmont Stakes by an astronomical 31 lengths in 1973, a record that I don't think will ever be broken, just like Nvidia. Second, I meet Nvidia millionaires who thank me wherever I go, and I go to quite a few places. These people typically tell me how many times they've been freaked out or told to freak out by people who should have known better. And because I said, own it, don't trade it, they stayed the course. Many of these people bought this stock because I renamed my rescue mutt Nvidia back on June 20th in 2017 in a desperate gambit for you to understand that this was a big stock. Everest was rechristened on a day when the stock traded at $3.88. The stock's now at $140. In that time, I've realized that we've all become way too trading-oriented around here. Now, we're in Nvidia at the beginning of August of this year at 107 when the devastating information story broke about the delay, the one that Nvidia couldn't respond to, a hopeless piñata reviled by the short sellers and allegedly by the customers, although I couldn't find a single one who was truly aggrieved. Given the newfound trading proclivity, I have to wonder how many people had the armor of the dog Nvidia and how many had it wear off. It wore off. If it wore off, you forgot the amazing thing about Nvidia, which is that it has really no competitors.
In a recent interview with American news outlet CNN, Japanese billionaire technology entrepreneur, investor, and philanthropist Masayoshi Son discussed the AI sector. Some believe that Nvidia and its GPU chip business, which has been the main driver of most AI breakthroughs, would profit from the continued expenditure patterns in AI, which would only pick more speed in the years to come. He said that he believed Nvidia was still undervalued because of how much bigger the future was. Sun also projected that corporations would need to spend a total of $9 trillion on capital expenditures and purchase up to 200 million GPU processors in order to achieve AI superintelligence, the next step beyond AI. On Wednesday, investors and speculators are anticipating Nvidia's earnings report, which is anticipated to cause a significant impact on the U.S. stock market. If the options market is correct, Nvidia's performance might cause the SPDR S&P 500 ETF Trust to track the S&P 500 index to move more than it usually does in response to important economic data, such as the employment and inflation reports. Due to its supremacy in the AI-driven technology industry, Nvidia has an unmatched impact on the stock market, and its results have become a gauge of the mood of the market as a whole. Gonzalo Aces, a derivatives analyst at Bank of America, wasn't holding back when he said that Nvidia was responsible for 20% of the S&P 500's overall performance over the previous 12 months. It is still the market's most dominant stock and is predicted to contribute around 25% of the S&P 500's EPS increase in the third quarter. Essentially, the consequences of Nvidia's success or failure will probably go well beyond its stock price. Over the past 12 quarters, Nvidia has surpassed earnings per share (EPS) projections 10 times and missed sales projections only once, according to data from Benzinga Pro. In the one trading day after its earnings announcement, Nvidia's stock moved 5.3% on average. Its first quarter 2024 earnings saw the biggest one-day increase, with the stock rising 24.4%, while the fourth quarter 2024 reports caused the worst reaction, with a 7.6% loss. To stay informed about the latest developments from Nvidia and the ever-changing stock market, consider subscribing to our investing tutorial channel. We provide daily updates on significant market shifts and key catalysts. So hit that subscribe button to ensure you never miss crucial information. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Nvidia stock, so please share your opinions in the comments below. Now let's dive into today's video.
Now here we go again. Maybe NVIDIA mentions the information delay story on Wednesday conference call. Maybe we'll mention Michael Dell's shipment of Iraq Blackwell, suggesting, I think it suggests that they'll still have the opportunity to ship these chips in volume in January, which is what I've been led to expect. However, the trading obsession might have shaken you out today, especially because you couldn't hear a response from NVIDIA because of the information to the story during the quiet period. But let me ask you, what if Blackwell really is delayed until January? Will that mean big wins for the people who paid beaucoup bucks to buy competitor AMD up for today? We own AMD for our charitable trust, like it very much. We own it right along with NVIDIA, and we know it doesn't have product that's as good as Blackwell. If I weren't so against trading, I guess maybe I would have sold AMD up 5 and then buy it back lower when the erroneous data is washed out of the stock. I didn't do that. I don't play that game. Maybe you think NVIDIA's customers are all hopping mad and willing to hold back money. That would be wrong, too. They have nowhere else to go for this kind of chip. So what then is this story about from the information? Is it much ado about nothing? Well, not if you work at the information. The information's job is to sell subscriptions. It's a noble goal. I did it for years. This story likely did that in spades for them, and NVIDIA actually reports a shortfall. The new subscription will be endless. After all, Jensen Huang starts out by saying, you know what, we blew it. The servers can't handle the heat. And Colette Kress, the CFO, quantifies all that business's loss and all the upset clients. Then the information may have gotten a huge scoop. Maybe this time really is the top. And it's all because of the server meltdowns. But the bottom line, I actually am more inclined to think that you're getting a buying opportunity in NVIDIA thanks to the information publishing a story that may simply not be that, unless you didn't know all that much and you parted with NVIDIA as soon as the news came out.
When the semiconductor giant reports its fiscal 2025 third quarter results for the 3 months ending October 27, on November 20, analysts and investors will be looking to see if NVIDIA can maintain its artificial intelligence, AI-driven boom, which will put the company's remarkable performance to the test. After all, as of this writing, NVIDIA's stock has risen an astounding 196% in 2024, and it is valued highly. Before examining what awaits investors when NVIDIA delivers its next set of data, I will examine how the company's stock has reacted in the wake of the release of its last 4 quarterly results. Concerns regarding NVIDIA's operations in China due to U.S. government export limitations caused the stock to plummet when the firm announced its fiscal 2024 Q3 results a year ago. At the time, the company's impressive outlook and better-than-expected results were ignored by the market. But thanks to the strong demand for its AI graphics processing units, GPUs, NVIDIA continued to expand its revenue and earnings, and the company's stock saw a pleasant rise in the next 2 quarterly reports. Investors, however, appeared to object to Nvidia's comparatively sluggish growth rate when the firm announced its most recent quarterly results in August of this year. It's important to note that Nvidia's revenue growth in the second quarter of fiscal 2025 was slower than the growth it had in the first 3 quarters. Naturally, the company's revenue more than doubled year over year, and its profitability also experienced a remarkable increase. However, by that time, Wall Street had grown accustomed to far stronger growth in the company's top and bottom lines. Additionally, Nvidia projected $32.5 billion in fiscal Q3 sales, representing a nearly 80% year-over-year gain. According to the chipmaker's prediction, when it reports its results on November 20, its top line won't be tripling from the same period last year. The larger picture, however, shows that Nvidia's stock has tripled in the last year when accounting for the short-term price swings that accompany its quarterly earnings. Not surprisingly, given the current industry changes, the company is still the market leader in AI chips, a field that isn't showing any signs of slowing down. Therefore, when Nvidia issues its quarterly report, investors would be wise to concentrate on the wider picture. Given that Nvidia now has a far larger revenue base, the relative slowdown in growth from the previous quarters makes sense. Even still, an 80% increase in quarterly income is no small accomplishment, particularly in light of the fact that competitors like AMD have struggled to gain traction in the AI chip market and are finding it tough to overtake Nvidia in market share. For instance, AMD made $6.8 billion in revenue in the third quarter of 2024, an 18% increase from the previous year. Revenue from the company's data center division increased 122% year-over-year to $3.5 billion. That is nothing compared to Nvidia's data center revenue in fiscal Q2, which jumped 154% year-over-year to a staggering $26.3 billion. To put it another way, Nvidia is expanding more quickly than AMD, even if its revenue base is bigger. This is because, with a 95% market share, the business is the top supplier of AI chips. More significantly, that dominance appears to be here to stay, since demand for Nvidia's new generation Blackwell AI processors is predicted to surpass supply in 2025. This is not surprising, as these chips are anticipated to continue to outperform AMD's offerings in terms of technology. Analysts are optimistic about Nvidia's Blackwell processor sales. According to a Morgan Stanley research, the company may sell $200 billion worth of these chips in the upcoming year. Should that occur, Nvidia's earnings for the upcoming fiscal year may surpass projections by a significant margin. It is anticipated that Nvidia's top line, which was $60.9 billion last year, will more than double in fiscal 2025. Although analysts predict that its revenue will increase by another 43% in the upcoming fiscal year, Blackwell's high demand may help it surpass that amount by a significant margin. Therefore, even after the incredible gains this year, Nvidia might pave the way for more growth in this AI stock if, as a result of its Blackwell processor's successful launch, company provides a better-than-expected forecast for the next quarter. As always, sharing your thoughts and insights in the comments section can foster a more informed community discussion, helping everyone navigate the complexities of investing in this dynamic sector. Stay ahead of the game with the latest stock market news, data, and important updates. I share valuable insights and real-time information on my Telegram channel, ensuring you're always informed before everyone else. If you want to keep up with the fast-paced world of investing, open the description below, click the link to my Telegram channel, and join our growing community.